don't have to wear
And just waiting on William to come back and then we'll get started, I guess. Yeah, okay.
Is the city ready? All right, we'll go ahead and call today's Greensboro Minimum Housing Standards Commission meeting to order, 1:32 p.m., June 18th, 2025. And the first order of business is the approval of minutes from the last meeting, April 23rd. Is there a motion?
So with a motion to have minutes. Second.
All right, so we do have a motion from Commissioner Hawkins and second from Commissioner Isafu. We can go ahead and call the vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That does pass unanimously. Next order of business is any changes to the agenda today from city staff?
Yes, we are removing item number 6, the appeal that was an error on our part. There's no appeal.
Say again?
There's no appeal. That was an error.
Okay. And the next order of business would be the swearing in of city staff to testify.
There's one right behind you too. Yeah.
Oh, I forget which hand.
Place your left hand on the Bible, raise your right. Do each of you swear or affirm the testimony you give in the following matters will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Please proceed, and everyone remember to turn on your microphones.
All right. And the next order of business would be swearing in any owners, citizens, or others for testimony here today. I don't believe I see any. So moving on to item 5, the public comment period. The Housing Commission is a quasi-judicial board. Therefore, speakers may only address in general the minimum housing standards or affordable housing in Greensboro. Speakers may not address any property that is currently under investigation or may be under investigation. Speakers who attempt to discuss a specific property other than as allowed above will be asked to end their comments. Each speaker is given 3 minutes each. Staff will provide the speaker with a 10-second warning before the time expires, and then the mic will be turned off. Anyone here today speaking on any properties? I don't believe so, so we'll go ahead and call the first case. Item 7, 3603 Flint Street.
So for 3603 Flint Street, the date of initial inspection was February 4th, 2025. There was an inspector's hearing on March 5th, 2025. Following that, the order to repair or demolish was issued on April 29th, 2025. It expired on May 29th, 2025. The property did not have to be secured. There is not children in the area. There is not a history of police complaints. The city is requesting an order to demolish as the estimated cost to repair is 98% of the current tax value of the property. Mia Dixon is the inspector for this property. The video started playing. And I do, at the appropriate time, have a letter that the across-the-street neighbor sent to the commission. It is not in your binders. I would pass it out because he just sent it last night, so.
Thank you. And Ms. Holt, real quick, just to confirm, could you state how the notices were served in this matter?
Yeah, I'm sorry. On this particular property, there are multiple heirs and a party of interest. We did, for all the addresses we had available, we did mail first class and certified on any notices, the notice of hearing, the order to repair, as well as today's hearing. The property was posted with all of them. We did publish the appropriate notices in the Carolina Peacemaker as required. Again, it's an heir property. We have spoke to a couple of them, and there's so many of them that there's just not a clear path to one person taking it over, and pretty much all of them are washing their hands, is the impression that we got from the people that we did speak to. Yeah, some of your plans right there.
And real quick, just a question for Ms. Dixon. Ms. Dixon, the video that's been playing showing the conditions, did you take that video? Do those accurately reflect the conditions of the property at the time of your inspection?
I did.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. And those do accurately reflect the conditions, of course?
Yes, they accurately reflect.
And have any knowledge of the condition of the property changing between then and now?
No, I have no knowledge of this being changed.
All right. Thank you. And Ms. Holt is, I believe, passing out the letter from the neighbor, which, with no owner here to object, I see no issue with it.
If you would like her to, I think,
And does the commission need to see any more of the video? No. Is there anything else the city would like to present?
No, I think that covers us.
Okay, and I don't believe anyone is here present for or to speak on behalf of the property. So is there any questions that the commission has for the city?
Go ahead. Mine are more logistical questions. It's not really about this specific case, per se. But in the past, we've had documentation of like sort of a timeline, like when an inspection happened, any correspondence with the family, anything like that. And I mean, maybe it's just in a different format. Do you know what I'm talking about?
so we did change software systems a short time ago. I thought we had comments in here. I know what you're talking about, and I was looking to see, and we might have not
I do see it on the next case, so, but I don't see it on this one.
So I think we might have just left those out, not intentionally, just left those out. So, I mean, we've been working on this property for a long time. We've abated it for nuisance violations on a handful of occasions. We've had an issue squatting there. It's caused a lot of trash and debris. Like I said, one of the problems with this property is there are about 7 or 8 heirs that we know of. There is a individual who is working, he's contacted our office, he's working with the heirs that he can find, and he's trying to buy it, but and he's aware of today's meeting, he's aware of our process, but he understood that the neighbors have been complaining to the city for a long time about this property. I think it's a corner property, and so I apologize for not having the comments in there, but we've restarted this case multiple times because the heirs kept changing, and so we finally got a handle on that, and so it's been a problem way longer than
yes, because
indicated.
In this, it appears like it just started in February.
Right. That's the last time we restarted it.
Okay.
And so.
I do. Question to city staff, based on the information in hand, when was the last time, to the best of your knowledge, was this space inhabited by an owner or heir?
Have you seen anybody there?
I don't have any knowledge of it being inhabited by owner or heir at all. Every time that I went to the property, no one was there.
So the previous inspector, I just have knowledge that that was there. It was squatters. There's a party of interest named on the title search because at some point he was there, and so we did what we were advised to do, which is try to serve him as well. But to answer your question, no, none of the heirs that are listed. I don't think they're all living other places in other homes of their own.
All right. So I'm going to make the motion. I move to uphold the inspector's order to demolish and adopt an order to demolish and allow staff to seek the summary ejectment of any occupants remaining on the commended property and to petition the Guilford County Superior Court to appoint a qualified receiver for 3603 Flint Street.
Second.
All right, so we do have a motion, Vice Chair.
Furman?
Is it still? I was you got married. I wanted to make sure your name was still the same. So, so Vice Chair Furman, second by Commissioner Hawkins. We'll go ahead and call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, so that does pass unanimously. So the property involved in this matter located at 3603 Flint Street. The property owner and all parties in interest in said property have been properly served with all complaints, notices, or orders issued in this matter in compliance with the law. The property owner and all parties in interest were afforded their due process rights in compliance with the law. The property in question has more than 5 separate types of violations of any of the minimum housing code standards, and the cost to repair said violations is greater than 50% of the value of the structure. The continuation of the dwelling in its current condition is detrimental to the health, safety, morals, and welfare of the people of the city of Greensboro and is unfit for human habitation. Based upon the foregoing findings of facts, it is hereby concluded that this matter is properly before this commission. The described structure is dangerous and unfit for human habitation. The order of the inspector is proper in all regards. Therefore, it is ordered, resolved, and decreed by a vote of this commission unanimously that the inspector's order to demolish is upheld. this the 18th day of June 2025. And calling the next case would be item 8, 338 Marshall Street.
So with 338 Marshall Street, the date of initial inspection, which is when we got the fire department referral, was 11/20/2023. There was a hearing on February 27th, 2024. The date of the repair or demolition request was March 11th, 2024. It expired on April 15th, 2024. The property did have to be secured. There are children in the area. There is a school nearby. There is a history of police complaints. The city is seeking an order to demolish as the repair costs are they're pretty much triple the cost, the tax value of the property. Like with the other property, all of our notices, we did send out first class, certified, and publish, because we do the publishing just to ensure good service. They were posted at the property as well. The notice of hearing, the order to repair, and the today's meeting. Jared LaRue is the person that's representing this case today, so
Thank you, Christy. And since you already addressed the service question, Jared, I'll just turn to you briefly. I see the video playing here. Does that accurately reflect the conditions of the property at the time of your inspection?
It is, and I do apologize for my technical malfunction, the video being inadvertently sideways here as well.
No worries. And I think implicit in what you just said, are you the one who took the video?
Yes.
Yep. And real quick as it's playing, if you want to just state the violations.
Yeah, this property was again part of a fire that occurred here to the property beyond this initial enclosed storage area going into the kitchen. The floor has failed. Here you can probably see it when I come back through after the ceiling collapsed in there, likely allowed water to penetrate and or from the fire itself. So I did not feel safe going further into the home. There is no permits on file for the property. They're active, and no intention from any parties involved of any repairs or their own demolition at this time.
And Jared, conditions today, the video is from
so specific to that, I mean, in addition to the floor collapse, the ceiling has collapsed in areas. There's a significant amount of trash and debris throughout the home, leading it to be not only a health hazard, but a hazard for any potential occupants. There's no power, water, heat on at the property. Obviously smoke and fire damage throughout the majority of the interior of the dwelling. There's a large hole in the roof that occurred after the fire as well. And it's just, I don't think there's any reasonable means to repair the property, and the only real way to salvage anything would be to demo the property down to the foundation.
Thank you, Jared. I'll defer to the commissioners if y'all have additional questions.
Mr. Chairman, question, when you see this kind of debris, trash that's in a house like this, is that an indication that there have been squatters living in there?
It can be. Unfortunately, I'm not intimately familiar with this property to know the entire background on it. It's usually either there's squatters that have kind of ransacked the place, which appeared to be kind of like the situation with the last property we looked at, or it's a hoarding situation from the most recent occupant where the property became this way. I did speak with a neighbor who was there at the time who indicated it was a generational home. I think the past 3 generations had lived in the home, and the last generation just kind of forgot about it, essentially. But that at least 2 prior familial generations had lived in the home themselves. and they weren't aware, at least, of it ever having been a rental property or anything to that effect. So that would lead me to believe more likely that it was a hoarding situation, but I don't know for sure. We did have to have the back door of the home that I'm using to enter the property boarded and secured at one time or another.
Any other questions for the city? All right, any conversations amongst the commission? Is there a motion?
I move to uphold the inspector's order to demolish and adopt an ordinance to demolish and to allow staff to seek the summary ejectment of any occupants remaining in the condemned property, and to petition the Guilford County Superior Court to appoint a qualified receiver for 338 Marshall Street.
All right, we do have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, so that was a motion by Commissioner Hawkins and second by Commissioner Wright-Pone. We'll go ahead and call the vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That does pass unanimously. So the property involved in this matter located at 338 Marshall Street. The property owner and all parties in interest in said property have been properly served with all complaints, notices, or orders issued in this matter in compliance with the law. The property owner and all parties in interest were afforded their due process rights in compliance with the law. The property in question has more than 5 separate types of violations of any of the minimum housing code standards, and the cost to repair said violations is greater than 50% of the value of the structure. The continuation of the dwelling in its current condition is detrimental to the health, safety, morals, and welfare of the people within the city of Greensboro and is unfit for human habitation. Based upon the foregoing findings of fact, it is hereby concluded that this matter is properly before this commission. The described structure is dangerous and unfit for human habitation. The order of the inspector is proper in all respects. Therefore, it is ordered, resolved, and decreed by a vote of this commission unanimously that the inspector's order to demolish is upheld. This the 18th day of June, 2025. We'll go ahead and call the next case. That would be item 9 Partnership Court.
So 9 Partnership Court, the date of initial inspection, this was also a referral from the fire department due to a fire at the property, was March 8th, 2023. We had to restart this case once because some parties of interest changed. So the hearing was February 4th, 2025, the most recent hearing. The order to repair or demolish was issued April 10th, 2025. It expired May 12th, 2025. There are children in the area. There is a school nearby. There's not a history of police complaints. The city is requesting an order to demolish as the cost to repair well exceeds the value of the tax value of the property. Again, with this property, we did mail out all the notices, first class certified. We posted the property. We published the property because there was multiple parties involved. The original owners, they are divorced. We sent information to both their attorneys. My understanding, Jared's here to speak on the video, but my understanding is that one of the parties of interest, the wife, was willing to demolish it, but she can never get the other party, the other owner, to agree. And so it's just kind of sitting really as a definite blight to the neighborhood. And I'll let Jared speak on the video since he's the one who took it.
Thank you, Christy. And Jared, are you the one who took the video?
Yes.
And it accurately reflects the conditions of the property?
Absolutely.
And while it's playing, can you just kind of enumerate those violations that were present?
For sure. Again, this is a property that a fire occurred at. It was owner occupied at the time. The fire and subsequent extinguishment of that fire resulted in, obviously, the roof, about half of it is gone at this point. As you can see, a portion of the exterior wall is collapsed. A large majority of the interior sheetrock is gone. As with the last one, I did not venture further into the home beyond where I did go because it seemed like there could have been some flooring issues there. Beyond that point, there's obviously an accumulation of trash and stuff, more so that's just kind of debris and stuff after the firefighting efforts were made. In addition to that, there's no power, water, heat on at the property and utilities, multiple broken windows and doors. The debris throughout the home makes it unsafe to venture from one end to the other. And of note, while I was here, I did speak with some neighbors who were concerned, obviously, with the exterior of the property grounds. So we did go ahead and get that addressed while we were there, too, to get the overgrown grass, in addition to getting that hole on the driveway side of the property secured temporarily to prevent access to the property going forward from anyone that may wish to do so.
Thank you, Jared. And again, I defer to the commissioners if y'all have follow-up questions.
Any questions for the city? All right, seeing none, any conversation amongst the commission?
Chair Scott, I apologize. Just for posterity's sake, and I should have thought of this earlier, could we just close the hearing before motion?
Yes. Is there any conversation? All right, so we can close out the period here of the case. Is there a motion regarding 9 Partnership Court?
I motion to uphold the inspector's order to demolish.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. On 9 Partnership Court, I motion to uphold the inspector's order to demolish and adopt ordinance to demolish and to allow staff to seek the summary ejectment of any occupants remaining in the condemned property and to petition Guilford County Superior Court to appoint a qualified receiver.
I'll second that.
All right, so that was properly motioned, Commissioner Ripone, and second by Vice Chair Furman. We'll go ahead and call the vote. All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that does pass unanimously. So the property involved in this matter located at 9 Partnership Court. The property owner and all parties in interest in said property have been properly served with all complaints, notices, or orders issued in this matter in compliance with the law. The property owner and all parties in interest were afforded their due process rights in compliance with the law. The property in question has more than 5 separate types of violations of any of the minimum housing code standards, and the cost to repair said violations is greater than 50% of the value of the structure. The continuation of the dwelling in this current condition is detrimental to the health, safety, morals, and welfare of the people within the city of Greensboro and is unfit for human habitation. Based upon the foregoing findings of fact, it is thereby concluded that this matter is properly before this commission. The described structure is dangerous and unfit for human habitation, and the order of the inspector is proper in all respects. Therefore, it is ordered, resolved, and decreed by a vote of this commission unanimously. The inspector's order to demolish is upheld. This the 18th day of June, 2025. And calling the next items of business, it would be items 10 and 11. Is there a motion?
I move to rescind items 10 through 11.
Second.
Mr. Isifu, could you speak into your microphone?
I move to rescind item 10 through 11, which are now in compliance.
Second.
Thank you.
That was motion properly second. We'll go ahead and call the vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That does pass unanimously. Moving on to the last item of business here, the commissioner discussion and reflection. Is there any topics here to discuss today? All right, go ahead, Commissioner Hawkins.
To circle back around to the request to have a part or portion of closed session with members of City Council regarding previously held and discussed matters, specifically the apartment/landlord cartel that has made its presence felt in the city, as well as, point of fact, that State Attorney Jeff Jackson actually sued that group that was West Coast in origin, but came here, successfully sued. As a point of fact, say again?
Real danger.
Yes. It was actually a compelling article in Yes Weekly.
Real page, just so you can get that on the record. You're giving me the look, so.
I mean, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I made the request, and I made the request, so. And I haven't received any additional information, so. I thought you were going to do something during the public.
I was, and then some moves that were made and statements as well from a third party, and that prompted a change of decision. So it was brought out before City Council with very serious intentionality and extreme prejudice on the part of that third party to City Council regarding the matter. And so that negated the need for my stance and statements.
Okay.
Interesting.
I don't know if we should elaborate. Is there any other thoughts or comments? You look like you're thinking. Is there any elaboration that you wanted to share, Commissioner Hawkins?
Yeah, would you please speak better?
3 words. To put it lightly, pitchforks and torches. If that was an option to bring, it would have happened that way. That's how intentional that third party was with their feelings regarding what's been brought to attention to council, regardless of action and outcome. It was that forthright, deliberate, and intentional. And I realize that's just only slightly less vague, but for the purposes of relationship and the like, I'll just leave it right there.
Any follow-up or questions?
Well, since I'm not running for office this go-round, I feel free to say that I think our intention for this commission was to foster a collaborative effort and a collaborative relationship between City Council and our commission, as we are, mandated by the state. And it is a little unfortunate that this has been a one-sided discussion. So, and that's all I'll say about that.
There was one other remark, and I didn't realize it until, Chair, you read the public comment period note, and in it, it states, and I quote, just as an excerpt, speakers may only address in general the minimum housing standards or affordable housing in Greensboro, which so many of our residents have made it their point to speak on and about that particular subject, yet their presence today is unseen and their voices unheard. That's tragic, especially when, if, and since the opportunity presents itself before this particular commission. I'll leave that open-ended.
Any other comments?
Mr. Hawkins, maybe I could spend a few minutes with you after the meeting and get a little better understanding.
Certainly, Commissioner, I'd be glad to indulge you.
All right, well, if there is no other comments here, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right, so we did have a motion and properly second. We'll go ahead and call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That does pass unanimously. Today's meeting does end at 2:06 p.m.